Hello, 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 hello. All right. Whoa, what an interesting morning today. Let's just make sure everything is on point. Give me just 1 second. It's been an interesting morning. I hope you've been on the positive side of the action if you were trading. Let me just check something really quick. All right. Looks like we're good to go. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. Look at what a tweet did. Look at this price action. This is interesting. We're going to talk about how, what's the next steps, what we can do, but the equities have been interesting to say the least this morning. Let me know how you guys doing. Let me just double check something really quick. Well, no retirement yet. Abe says this is where I announced retirement due to making fat stack. Actually, I did catch it. I did make a good 15R on that trade, so that was good, but it was purely luck. I was doing something completely different. I was trading the Asian market last night, which is something I don't usually do, but it's because I was working on something. Let me show you guys. I'll show you in a few. Yeah, I've been working on this how could I say? I don't want to call it an indicator, but it's just another way of seeing the charts. And I was testing it, and then I was again testing it this morning really quick before because it wasn't triggering. And I saw some trade criterias. I think I was trying to short somewhere around here. My short wasn't working, so I decided to flip long somewhere around here and just added to my position. And I was my take profit was up there. I could look at the specific numbers, and I probably will. And this, how could I call this? This God candle happened, and I just got, you know, taken out of the trade, but for good reasons. A good reason. This is the exact reason why you always need a hard stop, right? This is how what about you, Abe? Did you catch something? We got trade with Sakib in the house. How you doing? How you doing? I don't know if you were able to catch the move this morning or part of it. I caught part of it. So that was a good one. I'll go over my specific numbers. It was on the NQ, it wasn't on the ES actually. Stuart, how we doing? How we doing? Sat that one out. Well, you missed it. Well, it happens. For me, it was purely based on luck, right? Just because I was working on something else, that's why I caught it. Well, I'll probably show you, Stuart. And since I know you do a lot of back testing, and what I was working on is related to back testing, so it was purely based on luck. Trade set. You said this move is just because of Trump's recent tweet. Yes, it is exactly because of Trump's recent tweet. I could pull up the tweet. Give me a sec. The tweet. I recommend you guys follow this account on X. Let me see. I'll just write Twitter. I still call it Twitter for some reason. It's called. It's not gonna let me show you. Wait. First Squawk. Squawk. CK. There you go. First Squawk. Let's see. Where's the Twitter feed? I have it on X. There you go. You follow that account, and then it will, it gives you all the news, everything that's happening, and the Trump tweet. It happened an hour ago. But anyways, you'll see it there. So it's a good idea to follow that account. So you are right, Trade with Sakib. It is totally because of the tweet. He said he has, I have it there. Let me pull it there. He said he's pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor, blah, blah, blah. So that is why that happened. And remember last week I was saying when we're trading during these volatile times, stops are in order, small positions are in order, and you need to be careful for breaking news. So anybody who likes to use mental stops, well, this is why you don't use mental stops. Okay. This is why you can have a mental stop, but you need protection. This is a 225-point move, give or take. And on the cues, let's see. This was what? I think I measured it. Yeah, I was measuring it a second ago. We're gonna run through all these guys. I just want to see. Yeah, almost 1,000 points, guys. Almost 1,000 points in 10 minutes, under 10 minutes. This is insane. This is this is 5 times the average volume, more or less. So anyways. Abe says, I haven't traded since November. Have been getting the itch. Hard not to FOMO. Do not FOMO, but definitely come and trade. Come on, you don't want to miss out. You want to be in the game, even if it's with tiny size. Do it like me. I've been trading with tiny size on at least on the Black Arrow account, and it's been going okay so far. Jeremy says you could show it from the Forex Factory. Oh yeah, true. I didn't know it was on Forex Factory, but yeah, very good. Trade with Sakib says Tehran rejected that claim. Okay, I haven't followed the rest of the news. I've only been looking at the charts, but yeah, I don't think Iran is gonna necessarily collaborate a lot with him. We'll see what happens there. He says we cannot trust this old man. He shows the right hand and then slaps with the left hand. Yeah, that is sometimes the case. Sometimes he says things and does the complete opposite. But sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, got a little glitch there. Yeah, sometimes he says something and does the other. Sometimes he does what he says. So we just have to be careful. As traders, we listen to the news and then we follow what the chart says. Anyways, let's run through these indexes really quick. We had a very interesting move on gold as well that kind of caught me off guard. So we'll run through the indexes. We'll run through the commodities, and then we'll see if we can find some good trade setups to trade today. And actually, right here is what happened there is gonna guide the way I trade today. What happened this morning? I'm glad I was trading beforehand. But let me show you guys what I was working on. This one's for Stuart. I know you like back testing, and that's how I caught the trade. Let me show you really quick. Give me just 1 second. So I've been working on this, which is, I can't call it an indicator. It's a chart really. So you have your volume there at the bottom. The price is this what you see there. And then this is cumulative delta on the side right there. And then this is like the 30-minute chart in brown and cream. And it's basically an idea I had to kind of see the chart in a three-dimensional way and kind of use that information to get a algorithm going and see if we can use that to guide our trades. Anyways, it's a work in progress. And I had that and it should have been triggering and it wasn't triggering. And while I was trying to figure out why it wasn't triggering, I caught the trade because I had seen the setup on on the regular trading platform. So anyways, we'll go back to that later. That one's restored because I know you do a lot of back testing. Okay, guys, so let's look at and by the way, if you have questions, if there are specific things you want to see, let me know. We're still, today is we're going to talk about how to trade the volatility, how to trade, these breaking news events. So that's what we're going to get into. So as usual, I already have my levels on the cues. They're based off of my previous levels I had there. There's just areas where I think we might have some interest. I'm also using the volume profile as usual, and then I have my line in the sand, which is this yellow line. So as long as we are above this, which is basically half of this candle right there, we are in bullish territory. And if I was a betting man, I would think that we'll probably see some bullish continuation today. So we'll see. We'll probably get some interesting wicks after the open and maybe a little bit of a sell-off before reversal, but we'll see what happens. So the interesting thing about what happened this morning is even if there wasn't any breaking news, this was pretty much the ideal setup to go long, in my opinion. And I'm gonna run through the Asian session and explain to you why I think that. Let's go to a higher time frame. We'll go to a 1 hour. So if you look, and then I'll put I like to look at trends using the line chart. So we'll do that. If you look at the past few days, right, since I would say the 19th, yeah, even before that, yeah. So since the 18th, we've been trending down, right? Now, we reached an interesting level. Let me put the trading layout. We reach an interesting level on the daily. Unfortunately, I don't have the rest of the chart. Let me go on the continuous chart. Let's do NQ futures. So NQ futures, I don't trade that contract, but it is the continuous contract. So you'll be able to see the previous history. So we'll load the daily. All right. Let's go into, let's just hide these for a second. Show studies, hide studies. Okay. So we had been in this, nasty consolidation there. Then for the past 1, 2, 3 days, we had dropped and we tagged, a previous area of interest here, right? And if we only look at the trend, so now we go to hourly time frame. If we only look at this downtrend there, so we gap down here, if we weren't able to push down further lower than this low, we could have had a possible move up to retest these higher highs. And this was the setup I was looking for on that 3D chart I showed you. I was trying to find, let me go even lower. So my idea was, let's do it right here. Okay, my idea was, okay, wait, give me 1 second. Let me show you. We got 15 minutes until the open. Yeah, we were in this, we were pulling back here. And my idea was if we are able to break these highs right there, we will probably go and retest this. So if we were able to break here, we would probably be able to retest these highs and possibly these highs before reverting back down. So I was looking for, a 200, 250 point move from these lows right there. Um, I had a signal here when we had increased volume, and I'm gonna have to go really low on the chart. So on the 1 minute time frame, I had a signal there, right there, because I had been shorting the Asian session. And since we didn't have follow through in this area, right? If we were really bearish, we should have continued lower here, right? I was like, okay, maybe we're going to reverse here. So I had an entry signal here. I entered, I think, was it 2 contracts here? I added some as we were taking out these highs around here, and I was targeting, these previous highs and then those Asia highs. And actually, my stop was all the way up. I mean, my take profit was all the way up there. So I only captured part of the move. I only captured the move from here to the previous highs. I can look at my execution, but yeah. So captured from here to about somewhere around here, right? So I only captured about it said 200 and I think 201 point, something like that. So I didn't capture the whole move. I only got that bottom part. But even if we didn't have the breaking news, this was looking ripe for a reversal, in my opinion, right? And same setup on the ES, so all the indexes would have given you a similar setup. And because it wasn't triggering on my three-dimensional thing there, that's why I was in this trade. Anyways, so what are we looking for right now on the Nasdaq? What are we looking to trade? Well, I am expecting some type of consolidation. And today I'm going to be very patient. If it takes off without me, well, it'll take off without me. But what I'm looking for today is, we've had this price action, is for us to retest this level here, right? And then maybe wick down. I want us to stay above this area. So maybe we'll retest this and revert back, but I'm expecting maybe it'll be a fake move and shorts will re-enter here. And then maybe we'll get another impulse to the downside around here above VWAP. And then we could probably enter for, a retest of these highs and a possible follow through. If we're really bullish, that's not going to happen, but we'll see. We'll have to kind of go with what the price is telling us. But for people who like to trade traditional chart patterns, what we would be looking for, or what I'll be looking for, is some type of wedge, right? Some type of triangle pattern, right? But what happens very often with these triangle patterns these days, what I've observed is that we'll get the move, it will start to work, and then you'll think it'll break, and we'll have a fake move to the downside, right? And then we'll have a recovery. A lot of shorts will enter here for a break and retest, right? But it'll be a fake one and it'll continue to the upside. So that's what I'm expecting to see today. I'm expecting to see these erratic moves. Why? As a matter of fact, I'm tempted to just leave this here to see if that's what actually plays out. It might not be, but this is what I'm expecting because we have a lot of traders that are going to be disagreeing today, right? Where I think we're going to have people that want this to revert back down. We're going to have people that want this to be completely bullish, and there's going to be a lot of fighting. So we'll see what happens. Let me look at yeah, storage says looks good. Ribbon charts. Yeah, what I'm trying to get is kind of, something that looks like a terrain. So we'll see. Storage says, can you make the volume, the POC thicker? Well, actually, that's something I've talked to with Black Arrow, and they're actually working on an update for that because I told them, there's a few things missing from the volume profile. First of all, you are totally right. It's hard to see the point of control. And there's no way. I haven't found a way to make it thicker. That red line. So, unfortunately, there is no way to make that thicker for now. And then I usually like to have value area high, value area low lines, and that's not possible either. So they're working on that. And finally, the thing they're working on is for us to be able to modify the amount of volume bars that we have, to maybe reduce or increase them. So they're working on that. Hopefully that update comes soon, but that's something that we're missing there. So unfortunately, Stored, we're gonna have to, um, dig and find our point of control. So right for now, it's right here around the 24,992 level, more or less, on the micro Nasdaq. All right, about 10 minutes to the open. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're expecting for this. I'll leave this here and we'll adjust based on the price action. But that's what I'm expecting for today. Maybe I should put this. Yeah, here's what I'll do. So we don't have too many lines here. We can select and choose visibility by layout, and then we'll leave it in the trading layout. So apply. We'll do that here, and then we'll do the same for this. We don't want to see it here. Apply. And all right, we could just leave this here. All right. We got trade with Sakib that says, I think there should be some giveaway for early people who join the stream as part of a promotion. Okay, that's a good idea. We'll think about that. Don't worry, guys. We will have promotions coming. And since you're following the stream and you're here early, you'll be the first to know. So we'll have promotions coming in the near future. So don't worry. All right, welcome, Salewa. I think it's your first time on the stream, so let us know, where are you watching us from? Storage says, yeah, all the right things being asked for. Yeah, exactly. Yes, they're Black Arrow is very open. They're very eager to make the software even better. So hopefully, it'll update soon. Actually, I haven't updated mine today, but there's a new update that came in this morning, and that told me to update my platform. So I should probably do that. I'll do that after the stream, and we'll see. And cheers, guys. All right. Let's look at now that we're ready for the NQ. You know what? I'm probably going to use the MNQ as a proxy because it's going to be hard to control my risk there. And I'll probably trade the ES today instead of this. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to do. So we're looking at a similar scenario there. Where is my... Oh, I put it on my weekly analysis. All right, I need to move this. So we're going to move this to the daily. So basically, I'm deciding where I want to see this. I have 3 layouts. It says weekly analysis, day analysis, and trading layout. So depending on whether or not I want to see the lines, I'm deciding on which layout I want to see these lines. So we'll put day. I want to see this on the day as well. And actually, I want to see everything on the daily analysis. I don't want to see it on the weekly. Okay. This is our inflection, I think. So let's move this as well. We're moving everything there. And we're looking for a similar scenario on the ES. Similar scenario as an Nasdaq, and we're probably going to trade it because let's go back to day analysis. We'll leave this there for opening range. Yeah, we're looking for a similar scenario there, right? We're looking for, let me open my volume profile, just make sure. Man, we got no volume there. This was just flying. I don't need this. We'll leave this point of control right there as a guide. And our levels of interest are the blue boxes. So let's put it on hourly. Okay, so this corresponds to, so value area here, value area high here, that is a high volume node, right? So this area is interesting to me. We had a huge wick there, sell off. So that area is interesting to me. And this area is interesting to me, of course, if we are in bullish territory. So we're looking for a similar scenario here on the ES. And I'll do this on the trading layout. So again, if you like, you know, traditional patterns, this is what we're expecting. So this will probably go higher there. So I would say something like this. And then something like this. So what we're expecting might not happen is, you know, a retest here and then a fake out down there, a retest here, a move here, and then we might reconquer these highs and may possibly move higher. So we'll see if this happens. If it doesn't, then we'll adjust our trading accordingly. Trade with Sakib says, because we really don't know about this platform and we really want to step in, but a giveaway would help us get a quick start into this without fear of losing. Okay, well, first of all, don't go into trading anything with, you know, having the fear of loss. When you're trading, investing, or you're taking any kind of risk, you have to accept the risk. So that's one advice I would give you, right? Don't, if you're going in thinking, oh no, I'm afraid, well, you're saying the right thing. Don't go in at all, right? So if you're taking a trade or you're, you know, subscribing to a program, whatever you're doing, if you're purchasing something, you don't want to go in with the fear of losing. You need to decide, okay, this is what I'm willing to spend and this is what I'm willing to invest. And it should be an amount that you're comfortable losing. Now, to come back to the promotion, don't worry, we'll have promotions coming. We did run a pretty heavy promotion before we started. So unfortunately, maybe you were not part of the Discord and you were not able to take advantage of that. But we had heavily discounted prices for the Fiverr's 10-year anniversary in February, and that ran for quite a while. But don't worry, we'll have promotions soon. And since you are watching us live, you will be the first to know. You have to keep watching us live, though. And you know, be on our Discord and you'll be the first to know. Okay, we are opening right now, so we'll see what happens with the prices. Most likely I'll be trading the ES today to control my risk. Took a quick 2-hour trade this morning on it just to have some cushion to be able to trade. Okay, while we let this build, let's take a quick look at gold and at oil, because we know we probably got a strong reaction there. Now, the idea is that there we go. So this is gold. These are the levels we talked about in our weekly newsletter that comes out every Sunday. Now, gold had a pretty nasty sell-off, right? We fell from, first of all, we fell from these highs, the 5400s, tried to recover, fell even lower, and we're now back to basically below where we were after that run up. So gold is looking mighty interesting there. Wait, let me missing something. Yeah, so we recovered. Gold recovered as well, started to recover as we had that tweet. But my take on gold is it's a safe haven asset. My feeling was that okay, we're probably gonna hold these 5100s and revert back up. That did not happen. So my impression is that money managers and anybody who made a huge amount of profit there got out, got money on the sideline, and got ready to redeploy once they fully understood what was going on with this whole war thing. I think that's what's going on with gold. Now, taking a look at crude oil, it is to be expected. We're falling back down. We had touched those $100 levels right over here, and we pulled back on the breaking news 16 points, which is interesting when you consider that this is $1,000 a point per contract, and we are hovering above these levels right now. So we'll see what happens with crude. Let's look at the YM. I know we always have some Dow Jones traders. Oh yeah, I got Jeremit saying losing is part of the game. Yes, losing is part of the game. The Tom Hugard book, great trader Tom Hugard. He says the best loser wins. So losing is definitely part of the game, and as a trader, you have to learn how to lose and how to adjust. All right, so interesting move on the YM. It was moving just as much as the other assets, so about a 1500, almost 1600 point move actually there. Let me see. Unfortunately, Daniel is not in the house right now, letting it 1700 point move, letting us know his take on the YM, but I'm expecting a similar scenario there on the Dow. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, not an asset I trade. I definitely want to gradually get into it because I have my co-host Samir that trades it. Is a very good trader. We have Daniel also, who's a very good trader that trades it also. So I'll probably be considering it soon. Actually, the Dow looks interesting for risk management today. The displacement is interesting, and it might be easier to control my risk on that. So what I'm doing is deciding what I'm going to trade because the Qs move so much that it might be harder for me to control my risk there. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we had a very interesting reaction there. We're seeing buyers step in. Let's zoom in. So, yep, some consolidation here happening at the open. Remember to like, guys. Remember to like. Remember to subscribe. Let's see. Let me look at how many likes we have. Remember to like, guys. All right. So there's probably going to be a decent amount of selling before we see more recovery because this was an insanely big candle. So before we can get a move back to the upside, we'll probably see some selling. Now, I don't want to be bearish today. I'm leaning bullish. So we'll see what happens. We'll give it some time to develop and build. What are you guys trading today? Let me know what you're trading. Are you trading the indices? Are you trading gold? What are we trading? All right, we're seeing some buyers step in. Now, we have different levels of interest here, right? So let me see what the volume profile looks like. Okay, so we have one high volume node right now where we are. We have another high volume node right there, up there. So what are we looking at? We want to see, okay, can we push up towards this level? And once we get there, what's going to be the reaction? Are we going to be able to break above it and continue? Or are we going to do what I said, which is we're not able to break above it. We kind of go there, we try and we fail, and then we move back down. And depending on what happens either here or here, we will start making our trading decisions. Okay, we'll come up with different scenarios to see, okay, are we gonna, catch a continuation, have some follow through or not? Now, the first point, this is an interesting setup, by the way. This could be a quick scalp for people who are scalpers. You could have entered on that break right there, right? You could have entered on that break targeting this previous pocket there. So that would have been a quick scalp for maybe, of course, if it doesn't fail, yeah, it could have been maybe a 50-point scalp. But a lot of moves are going to be fake moves today, so we have to watch out. And a lot of traders are probably not going to be holding their positions for too long. So that's another thing we are going to watch out for. Now, I always put my box for whoever trades opening range breakouts, and I also use the opening range as kind of a gauge on where to take profits. Today, I'm going to make it purple. Actually, no, let's make it pink because I feel like making it pink today. Let's put it at 9:30. Where's 9:30? All right. So our opening range starts here and is up there. Okay, we're seeing the buyers come in. So we'll see if we have some follow through. Okay, we got trade with Sakib saying for gold, I believe if oil is pumping, it will make the dollar also strong because oil internationally traded in dollar plus high interest rates, also the enemy of gold. Okay, let's actually look at, while this builds up, let's kind of take a quick look. We'll switch to trading view. Let me look at the dollar. Dollar showing weakness here. Let's put it on a 4-hour. Okay, so the dollar showing some weakness, and that is expected as equities have moved up. Did we get a huge candle there? Yeah. So for gold, I believe if oil is pumping, it will make the dollar strong. Well, indeed, if if oil continues to pump, it will make the dollar strong. But as we have seen right now, the US government has decided to kind of pivot from the situation because um, oil prices have been rising. And you know that as oil rises, that affects the whole economy because oil is the base of the economy. We're thinking, a lot of people are thinking, hey, if the price of oil rises, the price of gasoline and fuel that we use in our cars might rise. But we need to take into account that oil goes into everything, plastics, everything we use on a daily basis has, for lack of a better term, touched oil in some way, shape, or form, right? It is embedded in our society. Yes, we're trying to make the move towards, other types of fuels. But even if we do, I mean, you think about so many things that are made out of plastic. Think about so many beauty products that have oil derivatives in them. Um, think about electricity generation. A lot of we're not using a lot of nuclear. We're not using yes, we're using hydroelectric power, but a lot of plants are still running with fuel. So this is embedded in our society, and I think the US government has realized that, hey, we need to address these rapidly rising prices here. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we touched this level really quick. I'm going to address your comments in a few. I just want to see what happens there. Let's look at this on the ES. This looks interesting. Let's look at this on the YM. So we'll see. I really want to try and take this trade on the Dow for the first time. We'll see how we react. This would be a scalp though. This would probably be me aiming from this area to these highs before we revert back down. But we're near the point of control, so we might get a reaction here and no follow through or not. We'll see. Oof, we're getting a nice reaction. Buyers are stepping in. All right, let's see if we get a pullback. And if we get a pullback, maybe we'll enter the long. I'm being very conservative today. Let's go back to the Nasdaq. So this is what we were talking about. You could have taken this quick scalp and gotten out at this previous pocket for a quick 50-point in and out trade. All right. Storage saying, going back to gold, COT, so that's the commitment of traders report, was showing a big drop in long positions held. So general trend down, bottom not qualified yet. Trend is your friend. Indeed, the trend is our friend. I know you've asked me before if I look at the COT report. I don't really, but I should probably start doing that to see what the big guys are doing. But it's interesting that we're seeing a general trend down. Bottom is not qualified yet. I agree. We don't know where the bottom is. We'll see. We need to consider, and I like to zoom out. Let's take a quick look at gold while this kind of churns. I'm not gonna take an early trade right now. We'll see what happens there. Maybe we could pull back. So we'll see if we go and react to this level again, and then maybe we'll enter there. We'll see. Let's take a quick look at gold, and let's zoom out. Let's go on a weekly chart. So we need to understand, guys, we've made such a massive move there that profit taking was to be expected. Now, would it have, should we have expected such a quick pullback? Well, in my opinion, maybe not, but with the backdrop of war, often correlations go to one, everything becomes correlated and sells off. Right now, we have inverse correlation between oil and gold, and we'll see what happens there. But this was to be expected, this was to be expected. We had a massive run. If we measure from the beginning of 2025 here, this was a almost 100% move. Was it a 100% move? Maybe I should measure more precisely, but basically 100%. Come on, guys, 100%. We should, on a technical basis, expect at least a 50%, which is there, right? Makes sense. And then if we zoom back out even more, this run up has been ongoing. Let me put this on a logarithmic chart just to see. Even on the log chart, guys, even on the log chart, this break happened. The break of the old 2011 highs happened in April 2024. And from there, we've moved up 111% is what it tells me. So, yeah, we should expect a sell off before we revert back up. I am overall bullish on gold long term, but I think what happened was the geopolitical situation cooled off what was happening on the metals, right? I'm interested in looking at, let's look at silver really quick, looking at the silver to gold ratio. So we'll see what the silver to gold ratio tells us right now, if it's in the levels that I want them to be in order to say, okay, we are forming a bottom. So let's do that right now. Let's do GC gold divided by SI1. All right. And let's see what it shows us. Let's put it on a weekly time frame. Yep, we are still inside that range, in my opinion, until we hit those 75s. The bottom's still not in. So we'll wait and see once it gets to these 75s, when that ratio hits 75, and decide, okay, is the bottom in? Are we close to the bottom or not? So there's probably further downside on GC and silver. So we'll see what happens there. Let's open this up. All right. So Trade with Sakiba says indices and gold in New York session. I'm assuming Trade with Sakiba, that is what you trade. So if that is it, let me know. We'll see what happens there. Okay, so we're looking at the Nasdaq right now, and we're deciding, okay, where are we going to take a position? Our position is going to be somewhere at, one of these levels, depending on what the price action does, and we will be scalping. So we won't be taking extremely long holds. So we'll see what happens. I actually had the AI analyze my trades, all the trades I've taken on this account, and I got some pretty interesting results. I'll probably show them to you in a few. We've made a few decisions together. All right, we're moving up. So 10 o'clock is going to happen in a few. Let me look at the hourlies. Let's reset this. Let's take out the few lines. All right. Okay, so 10 minutes till 10 o'clock. We'll see how this candle closes. Is it going to close at the highs or at the mid-range, and what happens with the next candle before we take our position. But I was looking at my statistics. So there. Interesting thing you can do if you want to analyze your trades. You can go open your statistics, go to trades, put all assets, and put your time frame. So for me, it was the 30 days, because I've had this evaluation account for was it 2 weeks. And then you do where is it, export. You click on export, it's going to export it as a CSV file, and then you can open that in one of those large language models. I like to use Claude. And you can ask it, hey, these are my trades for the past couple of weeks. If you were, because what I understand is these large language models like to role play, right? So you need to prime them and let them know, okay, they are a qualified trader because they've read all the trading books, and you need feedback. They're like your trading mentor, and you need constructive criticism. And then sometimes I'll take one from one large language model, whatever the result gave me, and throw that onto another one and see what feedback it gives. So overall, it said that I had a pretty good win rate. In summary, win rate is pretty high, higher than what I usually have. So far it's been 75%, which is very high. Profit factor is 2.31. So we've taken 40 winning trades and 13 losing trades. But what it did tell me is that I was not holding my trades long enough. And when you export your trades, what you should do is export it with there's a column missing here. It's called MFE, so most favorable exit. And it said I was leaving out a lot of money on the table because I was not holding my trades long enough. And we decided that I should hold the trades 13 minutes longer than what I usually did on average. So that's what we're looking to do this week is, we're going to continue to scalp. We're going to continue to do relatively quick trades unless, of course, the chart warrants something, a longer hold. But the AI told me to hold my trades 13 minutes longer. So we'll see what happens. I have to admit, trading live in front of you guys can sometimes be stressful. Trading itself is stressful enough. Um, I think the performance has been okay in terms of statistics. Um, but sometimes it's been stressful to, hold through those pullbacks. So I think because I'm trading in front of you guys and because I don't want to mess up, um, I've been exiting prematurely. So we'll see if we can fix that, and we can do that extra 13-minute hold. That's not a problem at all. So we'll try that. We'll try that once we enter a trade. We'll maybe the AI suggested I put a timer and decide whether or not I should hold the trades longer. So we'll see what happens there. All right, I'm still not in the trade. Like I said, it was a pretty good entry for a quick scalp. Around, was it 938, 940? I said you could have entered on the break of that trend line here. So basically, let me put the trend line. So yeah, if we consider this to be a trend line on this candle right there, you could have entered. You could have entered somewhere here, and then your take profit would have been this pocket right here. So you would have been getting out right there on those red candles here for a quick 50-point move. So that would have been $100 on the Nasdaq. Or $2 a point if you were trading the micros, $20 a point if you were trading the regular contract. So a nice quick in and out scalp. Now our point of control is up there, so we're testing that point of control right now. Let me put the volume profile here. So that red here is happening. So it's interesting, guys. The forecast so far is what's happening. Remember, we did the forecast this morning. We said we might retest those levels and then go back down. It looks like that's what might be happening. So maybe, I don't want to be shorting, but maybe that's what we should consider right now. The maybe this should be like that. The ES showing a lot more weakness than the Qs. So let's consider a position. That might just be a pullback. So we'll see. Let's see how the next candle reacts to that. Let's look at the YM. YM reacting nicely to this point of control acting as a resistance. Will we get another push higher or not? What we can do is draw a mini trend. So this is a mini trend here. And then we can say, okay, if we break this, then we might enter. So I see volume coming in on the downside on the Dow. Today might be the day I trade the Dow, guys. Today might just be the day I trade the Dow. Jeremy's asking, are the futures accounts scalable just like CFD ones? Yes, indeed, they are. They are scalable up to $500,000, and that is if I'm not mistaken, we're the only ones to offer that. So yes, for every 10% increase, your account size increases 5%. So let me pull it up right here. Let me just look at something right now. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So if you go on the website, you could take a look. Where is it? Scale up to $500,000. So every time you reach a 10% target, your buying power increases to 5%. So yes, indeed, you could definitely scale. That is per account. Yes. That is per account, to answer your question. All right, guys, we're still looking here. Looks like we're going to have a continuation to the upside. I want to see how we react to this point of control. And we'll decide whether or not we want to enter this trade. You are welcome. No problem at all. No problem at all. All right, guys, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're trading. Let me know if you have questions. Remember to like the stream if you like what you're seeing, and to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And of course, hit that notification bell so that you can know every time we're live. Remember, we also have our Discord currently at a decent amount of number of members and tons of info there, great insights. You can ask questions. A lot of great traders in the community are there. So join the Discord, join the Discord. All right. Let me check something. We should have news today. Or is it tomorrow? Oh yeah, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the manufacturing numbers. So we'll see what happens. I did not touch on last week news, and we could do that really quick. So the Fed, what was it? We had on the 19th. Yeah, the Fed decided to maintain interest rates as is. And I think Jay Powell is expressing a lot of caution there due to the situation in the Middle East. And he said, of course, the numbers, et cetera, et cetera. But I think everyone last week was in wait and see mode. Everybody wanted to see, what the U.S. executive branch was going to do for the next 30 days. and they were going to decide from there what to do, what decisions to take. I also think Powell is on his way out, so he probably doesn't want to ruffle too many feathers. We're going to get a new Fed chair in April. So, as I was telling Jane the other day, my feeling was that we were going to maintain interest rates as is, right? We were not, because inflation is not cooling like like they expected. So let me look there. We've had our second test of the point of control. Maybe we'll take the trade on the Nasdaq. We'll see. We bounce to a 5-minute chart. Yeah, so we're slowly grinding up. I haven't seen the rejection I want to see yet. We have, again, a mini trend happening there. But we are definitely at my resistance level. So we'll see. Can we break it, or are we going to move back down? I don't want to be long there, though. I'd rather be long in this area here if we get a recovery. The ideal scenario would be short, make some profit, have some profit to cover, and then flip long for a continuation. So we'll see. Or wait for this whole thing to play out and get long later during the day. So we'll see. We still have an hour to go on the stream. So we'll see what we can get into, what kind of trades we can get into. Let's take a quick look at gold on the lower time frames. All right, gold has had a quick, a nice setup. Pull back. So we had the move up, we pulled back, move up there, we pull back to this previous pocket here. So you could have had a decent entry signal, just like this morning, just like I talked about on the Nasdaq. Here we could have been an entry. So we will see what happens there. We're rotating to the ES, seeing some relative weakness on the ES. So I think it's the weaker one of the three if I'm comparing the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the ES. All right, I'm seeing the rejection I want to see right now. So I'm going to enter here. And we're going to add another contract. So I'm basically risking my P&L, and we want to target these previous lows. So we want to target around here, and we entered at 10:04. The AI said we need to be in our trades for at least 13 minutes. So we'll see how much we can hold. Now, very good. It might have been a premature entry. So our stop, we have two contracts. We're going to have two stops. We're going to have one stop here because we want immediate follow through, right? And then we'll have our 1R stop where it is now. And if this is going to work, the next candle after this is going to give us the real follow through. So we'll see what happens there. We want to see how we can go and react to these previous lows there. All right. So first trade of the day, we usually take 2 trades a day. I did take advantage. It'll be the third trade of the day because I did take one on the ES down there on the account previously. So we'll see what happens. All right, we're looking good so far. All right, guys, we're being quiet today. Are you trading anything? Did you take any trades? Let me know. The logic behind this trade is I'm using the Qs as a reference. So this resistance area was where we could have had a possible failure, in my opinion. And I am looking for, let's go to the trading scenario here we had here. I'm looking for a continuation lower before we revert back up. We'll see if that happens. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, well, we'll be stopped out and we will take our second trade and then we'll be done for the day. So I've taken my first trade on the Dow Jones. So initial take profit would be somewhere around here at the initial lows. We've broken out of this mini trend here. So we'll see. I should have set a timer. Let me see if I could set a timer. Because the AI told me, hey, you need to hold your trades for at least 13 minutes. So let's see if we could set a timer. Timer, stopwatch. How do you set a timer? There's a clock on Windows. All right, we're seeing buyers step back in. So we'll see. Anyways, we entered at 10:04. Let me write that down. So 13 minutes would be what? 10:14 would be 10 minutes, 10:17. All right. We will see what happens. This is my first official Dow trade. So unfortunately, what's his name? My friend Daniel is not here. So we'll see. All right. So Jeremy says your TP is my possible entry for long. Yeah, definitely. I think that unless buyers really step in, I really expect I'll probably, I'll decide whether to move this TP or not. But this is the area where I'm taking my profit is where I would normally look for longs. And I'm trading the Dow because it's looking cleaner in terms of risk management. The moves on the Qs have been more sudden and it's the more bullish of the three. So if I'm taking a short, I would rather do it on the weaker asset. Probably should have taken it on the ES, which looks weaker, but I don't know. The setup looks cleaner on the Dow for me. So yes, if we're looking at the Qs, if I had taken this trade, so let's do this here. If I had taken this trade here, short, so TP would have been somewhere. Let's go back to these level. TP would have been somewhere around this blue area. First take profit, and a stretch would have been the second one would have been all the way down there. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get that move down or not, or if buyers are really gonna hold the asset up and stop me out. So we'll see. Right now, we are holding the Dow. Now, we haven't seen an aggressive down move like I was hoping for. So buyers have kind of bought this little pullback. So maybe there will be more follow through and we won't get it. But that is totally fine. Like Jeremy said, losing is part of trading. Now, if we move up really fast here and we don't rotate, then I'll probably be completely out once we reach those highs, because we'll probably go and target these. So this way, instead of a 1.5R, I would take just a 1R stop and still be green for the day, because I had a 2R on the ES earlier today. So we'll see. Again, you guys could see I am trading extremely small size, just single, double contracts. This is very small, very disciplined. And I think that's how one should be trading these volatile times. You can see that I set my take profits and more specifically my stop losses as soon as I enter the trade. So if there's any breaking news, if First Squawk, screams that, hey, this is what the president has decided, then I'll get stopped out automatically and everything will be out of control. Maybe it'll get executed slightly higher, but no problem. At least we won't, be completely at a loss. All right, so buyers are definitely stepping in. They want to push the asset higher, and we are definitely bullish. I wanted to maybe try and build some cushion before going long. So they're holding it up. We'll see if they can actually do that, or if we are able to get a move down. So we'll see what happens there. All right, guys, we're live on Twitter as well, by the way. So if you are watching us on Twitter or on YouTube, remember, please like the video. It does help us a lot. And we'll see what happens there. Now, I'm interested in checking out, while this is running, I'm interested in checking out the continuous backtest I have running on TradingView. So we're going to open this, reset. Unfortunately, the backtest probably did not trigger. Oh, actually, no, it triggered me long. Look at that. It triggered me long right here on the Qs. So we'll see. Right now, what is the backtest saying for the 5 minute? So 40% profitable, 1.27 profit factor on the 15. Let's see. On the 15, it is not profitable. Let us see. What about the short strategy? The short strategy would be profitable. Oh, profit factor would be better, 1.4 on the 15, but negative on the 5. So that means longer holds for shorts, interestingly enough. Well, it's not surprising because we've been moving down and we could see all the triggers there. So yeah, it was favorable for shorts, and because I got my long triggered here, that's making me rethink my short entry. So we're probably going to take a 1R stop altogether right here. So if we don't get followed through to the downside, we'll take a 1R stop here, because my back test, which is non-discretionary, just gave a long entry signal. So it's making me second guess this a little bit, but we'll see what happens. We haven't seen the asset move down as fast as I had hoped. So we'll see. Now we are exactly 10 minutes into the trade. As a scalper, I like to be in and out. I like things to work really quick in my favor. But since my weekend trade review told me, hey, you need to hold these things a little bit longer and you need to let them play out, we're going to let it play out. All right, let's take a quick look at the Nasdaq. You know what would not be fun? If we get wicked out and then it moves down. That happens quite often. But I'm one to say if the trade is going to work, it's going to work immediately in your favor. Usually the best trades are like that. So we'll see the Qs. Qs are moving up. So, yep. Overall, we are bullish. Maybe we're going to get that. We're not going to get that fake move to the downside that I was talking about. We're going to continue and have a breakout. So when I mentioned earlier that we would use this as an indicator for the trading, well, if this is an indicator, basically the way this initial move happened, this looks tiny now, but it was huge when it did happen because this was, yeah, this was a 100-point candle, which was very interesting to me. 100 points in a minute is pretty significant. So what happened there is we had the initial move, we pulled back, we did a second pullback and exploded up. So maybe we are getting a similar formation here. We had the initial impulse. So impulse, pullback, second impulse, second pullback, and maybe we're going to continue to the upside. Now, there's a lot of lines. Let me make this line blue so you guys can see it. Maybe make it thicker. So maybe this is our other impulse to the upside. We don't know. We will see. Let's go back to the Dow to see how our trade is doing. All right, trade is oscillating right now. Not really doing anything. And we have officially held this for 13 minutes, like we were advised by our AI advisor. So we'll see what happens there. Will we get stopped out or not? We'll see. Let me know, guys. Jeremits, where are you watching us from? We had Salewa. Salewa, where are you watching us from? I know Abe is watching us from Europe, the UK. So let's see. And I am in the US. All right, let's have a little bit of. Oh, nice. Serbia. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I think we have people from everywhere. This is always good to see. Always good to see. So I get your waiting for a pullback to get your long entry, Jermits. So the way we're slowly grinding up here, that is usually a signal that shorts are getting squeezed and we're probably gonna have a strong impulse to the upside. The problem with that is, you know, you have a slow grind, slow grind, slow grind. You'll have that impulse to the upside, and a lot of people will be hitting out once we check these levels again before we revert back up, right? So I don't necessarily want to get caught in that. We are going to get stopped out most likely now. We're risking 1R, so no problem there. But the better scenario would be if we get wicked out, we pull back, and then we can find a better long entry on the asset. Jeremy's saying I'm waiting for 5-minute low to be swept, but we will see. All right, saying 5-minute low to be swept. Okay. Let's see if the 5-minute low will be swept and revert back up. Maybe you're talking about that on the Qs. Okay, Qs are looking much more bullish than everything else. And our forecast has not played out so far the way we thought. So we'll see. Ransom 9688 is saying, what AI are you using to aid chart reading? So I use I use everything except ChatGPT. I use Copilot, I use Claude, and I use Gemini. But I use Claude a lot for coding or vibe coding. I'm not a coder, I'm not a computer programmer, so I just my knowledge there is very limited. All right, let's see. We're getting stopped out. Yes, we are. Yes, my knowledge right there is very limited, but I like how Claude processes information when it comes to um, coding. So that's where I do all of my coding, but I double check stuff with all the other AIs as well. So yeah. Actually, let's look at how my three-dimensional band chart is looking. All right, stopped out for one, and we'll just close out the second one. All right, we lost one R. So yeah, all this was done with AI, and it's an HTML file. It's pulling data from, actually, it's pulling the live data from Black Arrow. So if you go there and then you do export, you can export real-time data. And the way that works is you will export the data. That data will go, there's multiple ways to do it, but the easiest way is to send it to Excel. And right now you have Excel updating. I don't know if you guys could see, but the prices are updating continuously. Then that is pulled and put into an HTML file that generates the chart. And that's how I get that chart here that you see. And then I can decide, okay, I'm going to turn off things. I'm going to turn on things. I can rotate it. So it's a three-dimensional way of looking at the chart. I can look at it from the top. And what it's telling me, for example, is where you see the red is more selling, where you see more green is more buying. And just a little side project I'm working on personally. All right, we're seeing that impulse to the upside. And it looks like we're going to break these highs. So can we break these highs and get some follow through? We will see. All right, let's check out the other assets. The ES continues to grind up. Gold still grinding up as well. Targeting these initial support levels here, and if we can break them, we can follow to the upside. And let's look at oil. We keep on tumbling down. So next level to target would be the 80s, low 80s, high 70s, but that'll take some time unless we get another news highlight. Okay, so today looks like a day we might just continue to grind up, grind up, grind up, grind up until we expand and have more displacement. So I think right now it's a matter of finding a correct entry long. on a pullback. And that might take some time because we have slowed down significantly. You could see that the large displacement moves we had were, a lot wider here. We were having, let's see, 60-point candles, 50-point candles. Yep. And now we've gone from 60, 50-point candles. Let's look at the YM again. Maybe that's the short I wanted that's coming in. Yeah, let's go back to this. And now we are, looking at half that size, 20-point candles, 25-point candles. So we're just grinding. And when we're grinding up like that, you don't want to fight the trend. I've made that mistakes many times in the past where, I'm looking for shorts, looking for shorts, looking for short, and the short is not happening. And the point was you should have just gotten with the trend, find some place to get long and hold that. So we'll see. That's what we will look for. Hopefully we'll get that live on stream. But if we don't, we don't. All right, we're seeing that move down. So we were probably premature in our short entry on the Dow. So we tag these levels, and now we want to see if we can hold above the point of control. Can we hold above these levels and revert back up? So what's happening right now is what I was looking for too early is capture the down move, and then once we were to bag some profits and then revert back to the upside. So we'll see. This is our current little trend, and the trend is probably going to continue higher over there. Oh, I didn't show you guys the opening range for everybody that likes to trade the opening range breakouts. Let me get these lines out of here. I don't need that. I don't need view up either. Let's mark that opening range and see if we had some measured moves. I always like to see if we have measured moves. So 9:30, this was the low. 9:45, I usually do the 15-minute opening range. This was the opening range. Very good. We'll put it in pink like we did earlier. Where's the pink? There we go. All right. And let's copy it. And let's see. Did we get a measured move to the upside? We did get somewhat of a measured move. We almost tested these previous highs. So what we want to know is, are we going to retest these this point of control area right there? So we moved up here, which corresponds almost to these highs. So are we going to pull back and retest this area, which is the point of control? And if we retest, are we going to revert and continue back up? Because today seems to be a pretty bullish day. And will we find bullish continuation? We will see. Let's look at the higher time frames. Let's look at the high hourly chart. Okay, we'll go top down. Let's turn off our volume profile. So extremely bullish day. How much displacement did we had? We had 990 points, so almost 1,000 points. Low was 23,772. High was 24,763. All right. So now we want to know, will we continue higher? It's 1,000-point day. So of course, anything is almost 1,000 point day. Anything is possible, but we've moved quite a lot. So I get the feeling that we might churn before we continue higher. So let's move down to a 4-hour chart. So really bullish 4-hour. We open at the highs of this 4-hour chart. We are retesting those previous higher levels over here. Around the 24,635. Let's go down to an hourly. Yeah, retested those highs. The chart is looking what I expected. It just did it much slower than I expected. So I might want to try a second short again. Of course, I don't want to fight the trend. And because we're grinding up, we might just want to look and find a pullback to continue higher. But I get a feeling that we haven't seen the rejection we want to see before we continue higher. Of course, this trading is purely discretionary so far. So let's wait and be patient. Is anybody in any trades? Let me know, guys. Did you take any trades so far? It's 1 hour into the New York session. So far, 2 trades for me, 1 2R win, 1 1R loss. So we are 1R in profit overall today. Let me know what you want to see. I know Jane always talks about pivot points. We got a pivot point right there. They use the Camarillas. Seems like buyers want to step in. Let's look at the YM, the Dow. So the Dow grinding down. We're back at the levels where I entered. So what did I tell you guys? I told you we would probably get stopped out and then revert back down. And that is exactly what happened. So we'll see. Maybe that'll continue higher. All right. Stuart says M&Q long. Nice, nice, nice. I'm glad you caught this long, and I hope you entered early. This way you can weather those pullbacks with ease. Where are you long from, Stuart? All right. Looks like we are reverting back. Looks like we're reverting back to the upside. We'll see. What we're seeing, though, is very muted price action, right? This reminds me more of the Asian session than in the New York session right now, in comparison to what we usually have, the movements we usually have, especially considering we have had news. So I think everybody's kind of in wait and see mode before they react. Once we get a sharp reaction, up or down, then we can decide what to do. And I think I'm seeing a little bit of a sell-off right now. We have our, well, we don't need this prediction thing anymore. We have our mini trend right here. When I say mini trend, it's just a sub trend from the actual trend. So we want to see, okay, will this hold? And can we continue to move up, or will this break and do what we talked about earlier, which is go and retest the lows? We'll see. All right. All right, guys, we're looking at the price action. We had first, so on longer term, we had, if you're not scalping and you're holding longer term, we had an initial low formed here. We reacted well to this level. We had a second higher low formed here. So the structure is overall bullish. Now we're testing those initial resistance levels, and we're going to see how we react there, and will we continue. 24,639. Storage said he entered at 24,639. 24,639. Okay, so somewhere around here. All right, it looks like we're probably going to get that short I was looking for. Are we going to hold? The thing is, any short entry is just a move down. For me, it's a move down before we revert back up. So I don't want to be holding those shorts too long. Let's try again. We are at the POC. So is POC going to act as support? Let's look quickly at the indicators I usually look at. Let's look at the VIX. Let's put this down. We don't need this. All right, let's look at the advanced decline. Are we advancing or declining or advancing more? Are we looking at the ticked? We're ticking down. Volt ratio is positive. So I'm getting different indications from the different indicators. So Tesla's bullish, Apple is moving down, Nvidia is kind of mid-range, Microsoft mid-range as well. Amazon is okay, just form a higher high but moving down. Meta mid-range, ticking down. Advanced decline. This is mixed signals, guys, mixed signals. But we are starting to get the kind of price action, the price movement I want to see. So we'll see what happens there. Let's take a quick look at maybe this was the retest of this level. I want to hold and see. Let's look at the Dow. Yeah, the Dow is holding, and buyers have entered around here where we had this previous consolidation. So can we hold this level or not, or will we continue to move lower? I still want to take a Dow trade, and I still want to take it short. All right, we'll enter the second try here. And maybe I'll be long, maybe I shouldn't be fighting this trend, but in my opinion, we need a deeper pullback before we move up. But then again, I might be wrong. Shorts might get squeezed out. So we'll see. I might be just selling those. I might be selling those, selling the wrong level. But I feel we need a deeper pullback. We need some higher volume. on a down move before we revert back up. And if this starts moving fast, I will add to my position and, move my TP so that it stays a 1R risk trade. As a matter of fact, I could add there we go. Sell stop. We could have a sell order ready. Or actually, I'll just mark it in this way. It'll put my bracket in once and for all. So 1-to-1. All right. Let's see what happens there. We have 15 minutes to go. Will we get it or will we not? We'll see. Sorry to be betting against your long, Stuart, but I feel that we need a deeper pullback before we continue higher. And the Dow is showing the weakness I want to see. So we will see. Of course, let's look at the pivot points just out of curiosity. Pivot points. I don't really use these, but Jane has recommended them and Steve has recommended them. So we'll see. Back in the day, pit traders and traders that traded way back in the day used to use pivot points to determine their levels, and they're probably still used today. So, yeah. All right, let's look at the cues. We are moving sideways. So we'll see. I didn't really look at since the displacement of price is very tempered. I didn't look at the order flow today. We'll see. We'll see. I want you to win. I want to win too, but maybe it's better if you win. So we'll see. All right, let's set up these levels. Let's put the... Why am I not seeing the levels? All right. Order flow. All right, this is what I want to see. Maybe we could put 2 trades on, one on the NQ and one on the Dow. Risking 1R. We'll let this trigger. Buyers are still stepping in. Well, I'm probably going to be wrong on this one. And the shorts might get squeezed out. This might have been the pullback long we were looking for. But again, the way I like to enter my longs is flush to the downside and revert back up. I haven't seen the flush to the downside. And by flush, I mean you see something like this, like a higher volume bar before you revert back up. Now, in days like today, where we're seeing, a lot of sideways consolidation before we see trending price action, it might not be the case. So we'll see. All right, so we have 2 trades on, one on the Dow, one on the Nasdaq for 2R. And if none of these work out, then I will be down 1R for the day. And that will be, so I'm counting these 2 trades as one. All right, this is the reaction I want to see. We want this to continue further down. Very good. Let's look at our Dow trade. Okay. So again, we'll let this guide us. Well, okay, this is a sign of a reversal. You see how volume is increasing, volume is increasing. This is a sign that buyers might start to step in. So we're seeing a high volume bar here. Buyers are stepping in. So bulls are probably going to win this fight. We'll see if we can get a little bit of follow through. We are at what would be the support level. So this should be a long entry. I'm going to show you how to invert. I'm breaking my rules right now. We're going to exit this. This is the long entry I was looking for. So we're going to take this and we'll probably add to the upside. Hopefully it's not a fake out. Broken the POC, yes, but we did react well to the level I wanted. So we're going to add to this. We now have 2 contracts, and let's see if we can get follow-up to the upside, because I saw what I wanted to see. We're unable to push down. We're unable to push down fast. And all right, so this would be a 2-to-1 trade, and then we would let the rest run if it does. So yeah, the reasoning behind this is we've been trying to short. We tried to short twice. Our shorts didn't have any follow through, so that's one check in our favor. Second check in our favor is that we broke the initial level that I had marked out there, which was previous resistance. We wicked down there with increased volume. We're way above VWAP, and we are following this trend that we formed earlier today. So this to me warrants a long entry. But again, we can always be wrong. Hopefully we get some follow through. But this is what I wanted to see. This is the pullback I wanted to see to go long. I wanted it to happen earlier and maybe with more intensity, but we'll see what we can get. So nice. Storage says bounce on the 21 EMA. Very good. I don't use EMAs, but actually we could just add it for the fun of it. I have it there. That's a 20 EMA, but close enough. So yeah, bounce exactly on that 20 or 21 EMA. And we'll see if we can get some follow through. 5-minute chart. I got the 5-minute chart. This is a 20. So let's fix this and let's put 21. It's arithmetic. Let's put it exponential. There we go. Yep. Right there. Now it's going to be 11 o'clock, which is not a great thing. We probably would have wanted this to follow through earlier. But we'll let it happen. And if it doesn't, well, it doesn't. And today was not our day. This would be my first red day out of, what is it, 11? Let's look at the stats. Fortunately, we can't see. So that's the equity so far. Oh no, I had one red day on the 9th and haven't had a red day since. So this would be my first red day since the 9th. We'll see what happens. Whoa, rejection. Rejection. Well, this is a tough day. We got rejected, and this is probably the short that we were looking for. And remember when I talked about fake levels and us getting faked out before going long? Well, that is what I was talking about. So we'll probably see a retest of the lows before we revert back up. So even though we game planned it, we got fooled by the amount of buying that happened there. Right here, we got fooled by this, and this was probably an exhaustion. So we'll see. Anything is possible. But so far, it looks like this was a fake move to the upside. So we'll see what happens there. There are some days like that where you get immediate follow through, and other days where, well, it's just grinding and grinding and grinding. So on days like today, we have to be patient, wait for clean setups, and if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. So we will see. Can we hold the trend, or will we follow through to the downside? All right, so these levels got rejected. It's entirely possible that so somebody was talking about W bottoms the other day. This looks like a double bottom here, but we'll see. Very short time frame. All right. We have 7 minutes left today. Ask your questions, guys. Let me know what you want to see. Hopefully, your trading day is going a little bit better than I am, because that's been 2 losses in a row, and this is going to be the third one. I just broke my rules for a third loss, so that's not going to be fun. But let me know how is your trading day going. Hopefully it's going better than mine, and let's see if we can recover. We're trading this war volatility together. Let's take a quick look at the YM. Yep, YM is reverting back to the highs. So we were getting mixed signals when it comes to the mag 7, when it comes to the tick chart, when it comes to the volt ratio. Let me see, volt. So volt is ticking higher right now. Let me reset this. The volt ratio is ticking higher. Tick chart ticking higher. Advanced decline also higher. Let's look at NVIDIA. Hasn't moved. Apple hasn't moved much. Tesla hasn't moved much. Microsoft shortly ticking down. Amazon, Meta, mid-range. So everything is kind of in the middle of their ranges right now. So we're not getting much follow through. We're not getting much follow. We didn't get much follow through to the downside this morning, and we're not getting much follow through to the upside right now. Even though we saw what we wanted to see, Like I told you, what I want to see when I get into longs is, a wick down with volume, a move up, and as we have sort of an engulfing candle that takes out the previous candle, I like to enter long. We were above the point of control, so the point of highest volume there. So in my opinion, we were getting our long entry, but that has not been the case. We tried earlier for a short entry when we were moving down on the Dow, but that did not happen either. So today is going to be our first red day in the 2 weeks that we've been doing this. So it shows that, hey, not every day is going to be green. We started off green, but not every day is going to be green. So maybe another reminder that less trades are often better than more trades. You still holding that long, Stuart? Like I said, I hope you win since you're long. I hope your trade works out and that your stop is not as tight as mine and that it can work in your favor. And hey, maybe it'll work for us too. We don't know. Still in drawdown, bouncing along the POC, probably a red day here too. All right. As long as it is under control and that you're not taking more risk than you should, then we are good to go. And I'm sure you are doing the right thing because you definitely sound like you know what you're doing. Usually, when we talk on the chat, I know you are a back tester. So, anybody who does back testing, who has the patience to do that, is probably a very disciplined trader. All right, guys. The asset is playing with our feelings and not deciding where it wants to go. So we'll let this play out and see what happens. Let's take one last look. 524. All right, you got a nice, yeah, you have a good amount of room for it to breathe. So hopefully you get that follow through you're looking for. Let's take a quick look at the at gold before we close the stream. Gold has a very nice structure. I like this. This is looking, so we had impulse, pull back, move up, pull back, move up, pull back, and hopefully we get another move up, a break of this, and continue higher. And that would look great on gold. Let's look at oil. Well, oil is turning slightly green, which might explain why equities are pushing lower. So if the price of oil rises, then equities are going to push lower. So we'll see. All right, can we get that move up on the Qs on the Nasdaq? We'll see. 1 minute to go. We are almost back at break even. I will let this run and I will communicate the result of this trade on Discord if it works out. If it doesn't, well, you will know that I got stopped out and you will probably see it on the chart. So we'll see. It's going to be 11 o'clock. We're going to have some movement there. I'm going to hold the trade, but if I put it on an hourly, let's see what this looks like. Let me take out the volume profile. Let's put this clean. All right, we're going to have our hourly candle open. A better stop with smaller size would have been around these 520s, which is where Stewart's stop is. So that would have made more sense. So unless we get immediate follow through on that hourly candle, we will probably not get a win today. So whatever happens, happens. It is fine. All right. Cheers, Stuart. Have a great rest of your day. Everybody else, I hope you liked. I hope you subscribe. I will be back tomorrow with Airplane Jane to talk about this whole geopolitical situation. Good luck on your trading today, and I will see you soon in the markets. Take care, guys.